What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. So, Carl the Cobra, El Cobra, FROCH, aired out. The Desert Diddy Mafia, featuring Eddie Hearn, featuring Anthony Robber Belchua, etc, etc. Yeah, and I ain't gonna lie, Carl, man, where my flowers at? Carl, borrowed, at the best case, right? Some people might say stolen. Some people might say he capped the bars. He stole he borrowed the YB's bars. Yeah? I've told people this is a British championship fight. And Carl FROCH, YB, you'd never box, YB. Oops, you see them belts there of Carl's? He been unified world champion. He been world champion. Oops, he said it. Now what? Anyway, let's get to the bars from the Cobra. It's Johnston. Anthony Robber Belchua has been cobra'd for sure.
Let's be honest, nobody since Ruiz has stuck it on AJ. Alexander Usyk had a go at him and nearly stopped him. Beat him twice, didn't he? So, if the ball goes for him, he's full of confidence before the fight and he believes in himself, there could be an upset. But the upset would be AJ losing. I think he wins. But what I've got beef with at the minute, I've got more beef. I've never got beef. Have I got beef? I've got beef with someone. I don't think...
It's an opinion.
It's an opinion. Rein me in, Rachel. Listen, I don't see how this fight is for an IBF world title. I don't see how who wins this fight gets their hands held high, holding that lovely red and gold belt. I don't know. It should be for an interim title. It'd be good if it was for the British title, good old-fashioned, passionate Lord Lonsdale belt. the best British, the British titles. It's one of the best in the business early doors. This is two British fighters who have lost to the champion, Usyk. The IBF world title, for me, didn't need to be vacated. They didn't need to take that off Usyk. Usyk's the bona fide, undisputed world champion. And now AJ and DUBOIS get to fight for the world title. You can't hold your hand at the end of that fight and call yourself a world champion, surely. You've both lost to Usyk. DUBOIS has been beaten to Usyk once. AJ's lost to him twice. So, it's not fair.
So why did they take it off him then?
Well, listen, politics gets involved.
So, you heard the first lot of bars there from the Cobra. And this is exactly what I've been telling people, man. Exactly what I've been telling people. It's just not right. Yeah, it's just not. Like, it's not like that. Yeah? It's just not like that, people. It just could never be like that. Now, it is important to note, though, that ultimately, I couldn't give... People become, in sport and in life, they become very secular. Yeah, oh, that's my guy. Oh, he's bare knuckle. I'm bare knuckle. Oh, he's light skin. I'm light skin. Oh, he's Amir Khan. I'm Amir Khan. Yeah? Me, I couldn't give a if you washed up, you washed up. If you nicked a belt, you nicked a belt. So I've been very unbiased on this topic. I told people 3 years ago I wasn't, or 2 years ago, I wasn't 3 years ago, 3 years ago, I told people I wasn't impressed with Usyk. Usyk was pressing to have AJ's WBO belt stripped after beating Chisora. Now, at the time, people were telling YB the politics says that when you're in a weight division below, you can come up and have a go. I just didn't agree with that, personally speaking. Didn't agree with it. I wanted to see Usyk do more. I wanted to see Usyk, bear in mind, before Usyk started pushing for the political stripping situation, he was already ordered by the WBO to fight Joyce. That fight didn't happen for whatever reason, and Usyk was quoted as saying, I offer Joe Joyce 7%. So that was, at the time, I was saying it's a duck, because people, I'm consistent. When Fury comes out saying, oh, you're getting 20%, you dosser, that's a duck. If Usyk starts saying, oh, I'm only going to pay Joe Joyce 7%, that's a duck. 7%'s like, no one gets 7%. 20's a standard thing. And at the time, Joe Joyce was actually higher ranked than Usyk. He was actually WBO number 1, right? Let me get the quotes here, because you man think I'm capping. Usyk, 7% to Joyce. Let's see if it comes up. Where is it? Here we go. 2021, Essential Sports. Joe Joyce gives an update on Usyk fight. Juggernaut Joe Joyce reveals he is not ready to accept only a 7% share of the pay-per-view in a massive fight against Usyk. So someone even in the comments said, 93%, if that's true, Usyk might as well come out and say he doesn't want the Joe Joyce smoke anywhere near him. It's clearly a duck. And that's the position I took. Yeah? Alex Krasik justifies the 93-7 purse split in favour of Usyk for the WBO interim heavyweight world title against Joe Joyce. So long before Usyk was pressing AJ, he was already ordered to fight Joe Joyce. That's the bottom line. People come along and say, well, IB, he's a former champion. That's not the point. WBO ordered Usyk to fight Joyce at heavyweight. Bottom line, that's my position. You fight Joyce, beat Joyce, and I'll be the first one to say, now it's time for you to fight AJ. There's got to be some sort of lineage here, in my opinion. Now, as it stands, it don't matter now. Usyk punched AJ up, so looking back, he'd have punched Joe Joyce up, and it's irrelevant, because he won. So he gets the benefit of the doubt. That said, I'm consistent here, people. The same way I wasn't backing Usyk to just take one of AJ's belts when he had it, because for me, AJ at that point was the bona fide champion. Usyk did not have a claim to strip a belt. It's come back, people. It comes back around, and this is even worse, to be fair, because at least there was some sort of logic behind why he should get a shot. He was an undisputed champion in the weight below. That carries some weight. What's AJ? What's AJ? And in fact, at that point in time, Usyk hadn't lost. It's not like AJ beat Usyk twice in the cruiserweight division, and then Usyk's trying to rob a belt. No. Usyk just beat these two clowns. He beat AJ twice and beat Dubois once. Like, this is a whole nother level. Not to mention the fact that IBF, they were happy to let Usyk keep his belt. This was already done. I ain't going to pull the quotes up again. You can look into it if you want to boost your IQ up, yeah? It's documented. After May 18th, Usyk said, I'm not dropping my belt. He challenged the IBF's claim. The IBF at which point agreed with Usyk and gave the IBF interim title to Dubois versus Hrgovic. Dubois beats Hrgovic, he wins the interim title. That's what it should have been. At which point, Desert Diddy, Prince Turkey Sheikh Salman bin Mohammed, comes along with Team Hearn, Massa Hearn, and Johnston, Anthony Robber Belt Ewer, and they're all politicking, trying to nick someone's belt. And it was at that point the belt got nicked. It was not the people say, why be the IBF's the most strict. It had nothing to do with the IBF, people. Absolutely nothing to do with the IBF. The IBF had already made their choice. It was Team AJ coming out every week saying, we're working behind the scenes and we refuse to fight Dubois without the belt on the line. This was a organised conspiracy to steal a belt for a bodybuilder. This was, I've told you before, I've seen the leaked documents, from this situation, from Desert Diddy. I've got an insider on the Desert Diddy's team, and he sent me the documents. This was Operation Belt for a Bodybuilder. That's what it was. You can sit there, I mean, you're lying, you don't have no HP sources. You think this is, people, what we know for a fact is, this wasn't Operation World Champion. It could never be. This is a belt for a bodybuilder. Now, on that last note of me being, or on a note I've mentioned earlier about me being completely unbiased, I've already called out Usyk. I don't respect the way Usyk dealt with the situation. He should have come out, and stood 10 toes down and said, listen, Desert Diddy. Listen, Massa Hearns. Listen, Robber Belt Ewer. Listen, Mr. Anthony, fake Mr. Humble, Robber Belt Ewer. I ain't giving up my belt. If you want to conspire behind the scenes and check the belt from me, you must do that. He didn't. He sold out. Oh, I'm giving my belt up. So now that gives it plausible deniability. Now all the Johnston fans can jump on here and say, oh no, YB, you used to give it up. It had nothing to do with AJ. I still got people telling me now, YB, why are you talking about AJ for when it was all to do with Dubois? The fuck? Dubois said he don't care about the belt like that. He want Johnston. That's what he said. And that's what he was doing. I never heard no politicking from Frank Warren or Team Dubois saying, we're not fighting AJ unless it's for the belt. The real one. He already had the interim. That's how it went down. I'm not a hater. If AJ was the one saying, no, I'll fight Dubois, I'm not interested in stealing Usyk's belt, I'd tell you that. He didn't say that. He was saying the opposite. Fact. I'm not fighting unless we steal his belt. So, that's the bottom line here. This is a British, if anything, if it's not going to be for the interim, because Johnston didn't want it, if Anthony Johnston didn't want this belt, the interim belt, the only thing it could ever be for is a British title. It can't even be European. Why? Because Usyk had the European. The winner of this belt ain't even European champion. He can't be, because Usyk would have been punched him up already, right? This is the British title fight. You're saying, we know how the WBC makes new belts. They make like the franchise champion. We know Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark, they're the British champion mixers. So I'm not saying it should be for the generic British championship, but the British Cats, the British organisation, the BBBOC, they need to come out and say, we're making a franchise British champion for Johnston and Dubois. Yeah? That's what would make sense. We're making a new belt. It's like a big gold belt, big undisputed British belt. You are the undisputed King of Britain. That's what this belt's for, people. That's what it's for. It could damn sure never be for a world title belt. And the fact you're going to see Johnston hold it up like he did something if he wins. And the best thing for me is he get clipped on his head. And I'm not a hater, but this is the truth. That's the truth. The best thing for him would be him getting clipped on his head. The same way I felt when Usyk fought AJ, I felt the best thing would be, I didn't like how that situation came about. I didn't like how it appeared that Usyk was ducking Joyce and trying to press AJ when, in my opinion, he hadn't done nothing to be able to push like that at heavyweight. I wanted AJ to go in there and send him back down there, but he didn't. So oops, an oopsie doopsie for me, and I put a bag on the line. The YB put a bag up. I put a bag up saying, punch this little dude back where he came from, and he didn't. Because you're big for nothing. Anthony, big for nothing you are. Just a big old bull. Good for nothing, no. Not good for fighting. Political bull. Do you understand? He like to talk. Not people. Listen, can AJ bowl over a bum? He can. If your name's Otto Wallin, if your name's Robert Too Dark and the Light Hellenius, yeah, if your name's Mr. Mixed Martial Arts Wrestler, you can do something. He might do something with Dubois. All I'm saying is I'm fixing to see what happens when he gets clipped on his Humpty Dumpty. That's all I'm saying. More power to him. I like AJ to some extent. I've been on his bandwagon before, right? I'll get back on it as well. I'm gonna lie. I'll get back on it. But you don't need to do all this though. You ain't got to lie about free time. You ain't got to do that, man. Let your actions speak louder. Go in there, pop Dubois spark in his chops, pop Zhang spark in his chops, and then you're there. I'll be saying, if AJ knocked Dubois out and knocked Zhang out, I'll be saying, Usyk getting cooked. I just will. I'm sorry, people. I'll have to say it. I'll be compelled. Even as corny as Johnston is, if them circumstances arose, I'd have to back Johnston. I'd have to. Again, I'm not a hater. Some man, yeah, they'll just say, I hate AJ no matter what he does. I'm not like that. But you've got to do something to get that respect back. Because so far, all you're known for is getting punched up by Mr. Blobby, running from Mr. Blobby, and then punched up by a cruiserweight. That's what you're known for in the last half decade. Yeah, June 2019, Mr. Blobbygate. Mr. Blobbygate occurred. And since then, what have you done? Life and death with Pulev, running around the place, 50-year-old Pulev. Robert Too Light and the Dark Hellenius. Come on, who else is there? Muffin Top Franklin, 12 rounds, life and death, 50-50. Could have gone either way, right? Muffin Top was popping you with the overhand right in the chops for you. Who else is there? Who else have you been fighting? That's what we're talking about. Martin Franklin, what's his name? Franklin something. Franklin Muffin Top, yeah? Too Light and the Dark. And that's it. I can't even think what else there is. Who's he for? Let's have a look at Johnston's for. Come on. Anthony Johnston. Boxrec, yeah? Let's have a look, see who's for. Maybe I've missed a golden, yeah? Maybe I've missed a golden opponent, but all I see in AJ's resume, to my mind, is golden oldies. That's what I see. Wallin, that was it. Wallin, that was the big fight. And I watched that fight back, you know, there was no knockdowns. The fight was like 5 rounds, there was no knockdowns. And Wallin quit. It was a bit, okay. You know what I mean? It's not AJ's fault, but it was a bit... Wallin wasn't even there to fight. You should have just been sticking it all over him. Anyway, Franklin, yeah, that's it. That's what you've done. What AJ's done in the last half decade, over half a decade now, I'm not impressed by any of it. There's not one legitimate challenger. Listen, he's fighting Dubois, but he wasn't gonna. Is the point. Anyway, people, let's get back to Mr. The Cobra, because he got some more bars for you, man.
So, it's not fair.
So why did they take it off him then?
Well, listen, politics gets involved in boxing. So you've got Bricktop, you've got Eddie Hearn, you've got Turkey Al Sheikh, and there's a lot of money involved. So obviously the IBF have decided, however they've come to the conclusion that this belt now is on the line. It's vacant. I don't think this belt should be vacant. This belt should be firmly in the grasp of Alexander Usyk, and whoever wins this fight should be given the chance, the opportunity to then go and fight the champion. When I fought for that red and gold belt there, I boxed the IBF champion, unbeaten, Lucian Butte, Romanian Canadian. Lucian Butte, unbeaten with a high knockout percentage. Not many people thought I could win, but I fought him in a 5-round absolute whitewash because I was charged. I was ready to become world champion for the 3rd time. And I went in there and I ripped the belt off the champion. And I think this fight being made for the IBF title, it dilutes the belt. It takes away from what it is to become a world champion. And whoever wins this title, they're going to be crowned IBF world champion. But everybody deep down knows that this fight is actually just an eliminator for the interim.
The battle of the British bodybuilders, Carl, is what this is. Let's not do that. Let's not do all that. Yeah, this is a British bodybuilder belt championship. What's that organisation that runs the Mr. Olympia? Yeah, I believe the BBBOC should do like a special event, a cross promotion with Mr. Olympia. Yeah, especially in this Saudi age. How big would that be? Mr. Olympia featuring British Board of Boxing Control for the British bodybuilding belt. That'd be a bit of a vibe, wouldn't it? Let's call a spade here. Yeah, it's a bit like Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar was in WWE and he did a cross promotion thing with the UFC. Same principle here. Mr. Olympia featuring the BBBOC, the British Boxing Board of Control, for the British bodybuilder belt. Yeah, you see that one there? 100%. That's what this is. No doubt about it.
And maybe that's why Wembley Stadium's not sold out. There's thousands of tickets left available. If you go on to...
investigate this in a separate video, but if that's true, that's kind of mad. This is Wembley, Johnston. This should be sold out. This should be sold out, really. We haven't had no big boxing in the UK for a minute, so if there was ever a time to sell out, it'd be now, but oops. Yeah. People want to... The reason the UFC gets sold out all the time is because people know you're going to get a good fight. Unfortunately, people, Johnston, like, when was the last time he give you, man, a good fight like that? Pulev, whack. Too Light in the Dark, Hellenius, whack. Franklin, whack. Yeah? People ain't... Dubois might bring it, but Dubois don't have the profile like that. For AJ to start doing numbers again, he needs to be ferocious. Not against Ngannou, not against Wallin. We need to see him stand on business with someone who on it like that. And so far, he ain't been getting down like that. So, people ain't interested in seeing a political agent, someone who's good at fighting when they're winning.
If you go onto the website, you can still buy tickets. And certain people gloat about selling out Wembley and how many they've sold and how many times they've done it. Listen, first never follows. The biggest fight post-war, 80,000 at Wembley Stadium. FROCH, Groves, look it up, 2014. I don't mention it much. But anyway, this fight is between 2 top British fighters, and I'd like to see it for the British title, not for the IBF World Championship.
Bosh, and that's the bottom line, people. Yeah, this is the belt that Johnny Fisher, Fraser Clark, Fabio Wardley are in the mix for. That's the level it is. It damn sure ain't the level of taking someone's belt who beat these two. That just don't make no sense in my mind. It's not like OIB, well, Fury beat Usyk, so it's a bit like... Even then, to be honest, if Fury had beat Usyk, then it's kind of still a bit mad. Why would you strip him? The man who... Fury would have been the man who beat the man. You couldn't strip him either. For 2 bodybuilders. They'd be like down here somewhere. You'd have Fury at the top, Usyk there, and bodybuilders here. So you can't even... No way you cut this. It's not right. And it's whack. And it irritates me. The way it's come about as well. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, like off the bell, 100%. No doubt about it, people. Stop it.